What's going on, guys? I just got done watching Scream 5, or just Scream, They just call it Scream on all the posters. I'm pretty sure it's to be like the kind of self-aware thing, like how Scream has going, their little gimmick. Because Halloween, I believe, the 2018 Halloween was just called Halloween, so I think they're poking fun at that. But it's like, I kind of would have just preferred Scream 5. I get what you're doing, but... or maybe doing, I'm pretty sure, but okay, whatever. It's Scream 5. Alright. So I'm gonna try to do a spoiler-free part for this. It's very tough for me to do those, though, just because it's hard to talk about why you like something without giving away spoilers, I think, for me, or determine what's a spoiler and what's not for some people. So I think for the spoiler-free, I'll just say, it's the movie's gonna be a 9 out of 10 for me. I think I really enjoyed it. I just kind of thought I would go into it and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was just, it was just okay. But I'm thinking I'm more on the side of great, surprisingly. I think the cast, I was worried about having too much of the younger teenage cast in here and not really much of the old cast. But I think it was blended together pretty nicely, So it didn't feel like we got too much of this or too much of that, or the main teenage cast that we do focus on is kind of, likable or not too unlikable, I guess, So, yeah, that's what I got for that. And then, of course, we get the self-aware Scream stuff in there. I've heard people complain that it can be kind of too on the nose sometimes, and it is. It kind of draws you out where you're like, it's a little cringy that they're, so directly kind of referencing things, but at the same time, that's what I love about Scream, the fact that it's, has that element to it, right, and it's just kind of makes it different than all the other horror movies, or the way it's self-aware, that's that element about it that I've always enjoyed for sure. So, yeah, I think, it's really tough to say much more without spoiling it for me, so I think that's going to be my spoiler-free section. It really comes around in a nice roundabout circle way, I think, to where I feel like this would be a good point to end the franchise for sure. It didn't feel like a movie that was made just to kind of, let's do another Scream movie, we can do it, something to put out there, people will watch it, make a bunch of money. It felt like they actually, cared to craft a story and an ending that was realistic and makes sense, and it makes sense that the people who made this should be good at doing that, because they're so self-aware about horror movies and how people perceive them, So, yeah. And this was the first one without Wes Craven. I didn't realize that, or I didn't put two and two together. But yeah, so this movie, different director than the rest of them, but I think it still did it, or I'm pretty sure, but it still did it justice for sure. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Nice surprise. I didn't expect it to be bad again, but I didn't expect it to be this good. So anyway, that's it for the spoiler-free. I'm going to do some spoilers now. I have a list of notes here that are going to break down the movie. It's tough to recap an entire movie and get everything in there that you want to talk about, but these are just some of the high points to me. And I'm going to kind of skip ahead in my notes here to get to the big thing that everybody's probably going to be talking about. They kill off Dewey. Wow. Just wow. I was just in a state of just such shock whenever I witnessed this, I can't even explain it to you. I was frozen, I was I couldn't believe it. Yeah. So, I can see a lot of people being upset over this, and I am upset in the sense of, I'll be upset about this if there's a Scream 6 and it has Gale and Sydney and no Dewey. That's when I'll be upset about it. But if this is the end of the franchise, then yeah, go ahead and take out one of them for sure. And yeah, I think Dewey made sense for that. Because the thing is, whenever you have characters that are so vetted in these horror movies, you see this in the Chucky franchise with Andy. Whenever you have characters that are so well adept to deal with these things, you can only have them in there sparingly, like what we have with Gale and Sydney in this one, or you got to kill them off, some way. That's going to be by surprise, as Dewey got surprised by his phone. That was the only thing that got the jump on him, which wasn't really his fault. It was just a surprise, no way he could have saw it coming. And he's going back in. He could have finished the movie right there, final headshot, and also he's a cop, so he's even more adept to deal with this stuff, right? And I think if we had have kind of went the expectation route of him and Gale getting back together, you know, by the end of this, which is what I was thinking was going to happen, it would be, you know, a little repetitive. They're, you know, on and on, off again, whatever. You know, seen it before, and we don't want it to be repetitive either. So, yeah, so I think that they went with a good option of killing him off in that way. Let's see. I had some notes about it, yeah. But, yeah, Gale kind of inadvertently got him killed, you know, because it was her phone call that did it, right? But, yeah, he was just too OP to keep around. I do love the line that Ghostface has. Whenever he kills him, you know, he says it was an honor to kill him, you know, because he's made it through so much. He said he's been stabbed like 9 times in the movie. And, so, yeah, it's an honor that you get the kill of him. And I do like the way that he kills him is stab in the front. And then just to make sure, if you thought he was going to make it, stab in the back, you know. Rip all the way up and then like that. It looked really cool visually, you know, the move of it. And, yeah, he was like, it was an honor. Yeah, it's awesome. And, yeah, and Dewey's last thing that he gets to see is Gale and him on the phone, you know. So it's pretty touching there. And it'd be cool to go back. I was trying to think of what his last lines were to Sydney and Gale. There's a lot of references, I'm sure, in this that I'm going to miss because I haven't seen all the Scream movies recently. I used to be a really big fan, watch them over and over again with my sister, and just, you know, by myself. Probably one of my favorite horror franchises, apart from Child's Play. But his last line, you know, I was trying to think back. His last line was Sydney. He was like, "It's good to hear your voice." Maybe that's something he's told her before. And then with Gale, I'm pretty sure the last thing she told him was like, "The last thing you are is a coward, Dewey." And she was right. You know, he goes in and stops the killer, or damn near does. And what else? And that was the only thing. Killing him off was the only way that they were going to get Sydney and Sydney to come back, at least. You know, that was the only thing that was going to get her there and involved at this point. You know, which makes sense because she's been through it so many times. It'd be a little bit stupid for her to keep going back. But no, Dewey was what brought her to town, his death. So, didn't get a funeral with him or anything like that, but yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. And he was in the majority of the movie. It was just like the last 40 minutes where they killed him off. So I think it was a good time. Like I said, everything was timed and paced really well in this with the characters. So, yeah, that's the big one. We'll try to go through some of my other notes about the movie really quick because I do have a good bit. Let's see. So the girl in the intro, I do like the intro, of course, how it's, you know, just like the regular Scream, you know, how the first Scream movie kind of started out and referencing it and all of it, and how it's all so self-aware and these movies existed within the movie, you know. I like all that dialogue, of course. Okay, how did she survive, though? I don't know if Ghostface, like, got interrupted by the cops or he just thought she would bleed out, but okay, yeah, she survived, so that was kind of like, what, but okay. And then I do like the main story that we have here, the way it connects. I didn't want to say in my spoiler-free part because I thought it was, you know, it'd be a spoiler, but this is Billy Loomis's daughter is the main character. You know, Billy Loomis was fucking around in high school, got some girl pregnant, and I like how her story connects with that as well, being the reason that her dad left and she became kind of distant and stuff. I like the way all that backstory plays out. But yeah, super cool to have Billy Loomis's daughter in here. And as well to have the hallucinations of Billy Loomis. I don't know if they got the actor to come back in and they did some de-aging on him or how they did that exactly, but super cool to have her hallucinate her dad. You know, I love the imagery on that. Kind of makes Billy Loomis a more likable character, seeing him kind of help her and talk to her in this, but of course, no, he's a serial killer, so it's just her mind. But yeah, super cool to have that. And so yeah, I like the main character's connection with that for the backstory. They usually have the killer be connected like that in some way, though. You know, I don't know if it's too special, but yeah, I did like it. Let's see. So we get the Officer Hicks from Scream 4 back in here, and they killed her off as well. Disappointingly enough, I do remember liking her in Scream 4. I like Scream 4. I don't know how you guys feel about it. My sister, we talk about Scream a lot because we're both fans. She hates it, you know, but I do think I remember liking her in Scream 4. So yes, it's sad to see her go, I guess. But still, nice they had her in here for just a second. and they kill off her son as well. You know, this actor from 13 Reasons Why, I would have liked to, have him kind of react to his mom's death, you know, and maybe make him a more interesting character because of that, like kind of having that motivation to hate Ghostface or whatever. But they kill him off as well. The knife in the neck stab was super brutal with him. So yeah, it's kind of a disappointment they killed him off, but I don't know if I'm a fan of that actor though, just because of 13 Reasons Why. I know he's prominent and he might not be bad, but that show, I just, you know, okay. In the later seasons especially. So we get a little tribute to Randy, you know, a great character from the previous films, from the first and the second one, still kind of legendary, living on. He has his theater in like his mom's house, his aunt's house, I'm not sure who that was exactly. But yeah, they have a theater dedicated to him and a character that kind of replaces him and is the big movie nerd. And it's kind of skipping ahead, but they have a cool scene with her later on where she's like on the couch watching his scene that they reenacted in the movie. And and you know, he's like, it's the scene where he's like, you know, don't turn around, whatever, turn around, and she turns around while she's watching it. I'm pretty sure that's happened in Scary Movie before, hasn't it? But whatever, that scene was cool, how they kind of had another Randy in there and having him live on with this. So Gale and Dewey's breakup, you know, their dialogue, I understand it now why the first time I saw it, but whenever I was watching their first interaction together, or their only interaction together, I guess, in the movie, was it? Yeah, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? Yeah, but one of their only interactions together in the movie, or their only one, their dialogue felt a little bit too much exposition heavy, but I know why, because they were planning on killing him, so they were trying to get in every little piece of dialogue between them, you know? Yeah, they had some funny stuff. I like the scene when they go and recruit Dewey too, calling him the Sam Elliott ripoff, you know, and all that. Yeah, it was really great. Let's see, they have a song in here, just a little thing for me. If you've seen the show Peaky Blinders, this song is in the Peaky Blinders, The Red Right Hand, by I forget who it's by, but yeah, it's in Peaky Blinders, and it fits really well in here in one scene. Excuse me, I was sick about a week ago. Sorry. And then, let's see. Sydney has kids now. We don't meet her husband or anything. I don't know if we have in previous films. I don't think so. But yeah, so that's kind of why, that's the only reason that you were really going to get her there, was by Dewey's death too, because she has kids to worry about and stuff, but she'll definitely come for her old friend. And yeah, and they're still developing these older characters a little bit. You know, she has kids, and yeah, and then Dewey and Gale were broken up. I'm thinking though, is this mean to say, is she's a little old to have, maybe she's not that old, maybe she's like 40, I shouldn't say that, but I was like, is she kind of old to have kids? 2 new kids, 2 babies, but no, that's messed up. Okay, but they're getting older, and that's maybe why they ended this franchise too, because, you know, if they make one every 10 years, by the next one it's going to be getting kind of a little bit ridiculous, although Jamie Lee Curtis is pretty older than them, I'm pretty sure, and she's still doing the Halloween movies, but yeah, they're getting old now, of course. I mean, it's what it is. So I did have a problem with the scene with Dewey, though, I'll say that, in the hospital, only because they shut down the whole hospital ward. They killed one cop on there. They killed off one cop. How did you, okay, let's believe that you went to the power room and turned off the power, but how did you get everybody out of that, all the nurses and doctors off of that ward? That's the only thing that I was like, how the fuck? They're not going to explain that at all. Pizza Hut, did Pizza Hut sponsor this movie? Because there's a scene in here where the actor, I know him from The Boys, and he pretty much plays that character for the whole movie until, of course, he's revealed to be the killer, which I think is why it worked well too, because he kind of has that charm and charisma where you wouldn't believe that he could even be bad, you know, at all. He just plays that part so well. Same character he plays in The Boys. But there's a scene where he's laying on a bed with a Pizza Hut box, and it's open, and I have never seen a Pizza Hut box like this, apart from in the commercials, but it very clearly just is opened up and has Pizza Hut on the inside. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so maybe sponsored by Pizza Hut, this movie was. Let's see. Franchise goes off the rails in 5. They're very self-aware. Like I said, there's always so many good lines in here like that, but sometimes they are a little bit, that's cringy, but it's what it is, you know, it's real for them in their universe to be having these conversations. But yeah, definitely sometimes it's like, okay. I like the setup in the hospital too. Whenever the Ghostface is saying to choose your boyfriend or your sister, and she's like, I can't. And he's like, really, you can't choose your sister over your boyfriend, really? Let's see. I do like Ghostface as a killer. This is just a thing for the franchise, I guess, overall. But I do like him as a killer because he's really fast, and agile. There's a scene in here where he's running, which is different than, Michael Myers or Jason, some of the bigger staple killers like that. And his stabs, they make sure they do a sound effect or something where they really have some weight to them, Something like stabbing with just a, regular knife is kind of, wouldn't think it'd be that, like, but it kind of is, because they really get the stabs in there. Yeah. And then I have my notes about Dewey, absolutely stunned. Let's see, I'm just reading off of them here. I do like, of course, how they kind of parallel Sydney with the Samantha, Sid, Sam, Samantha, or Sydney, Sid, they intertwine their characters to kind of be the new main character setup, for the series. That's why I'm saying I hope they don't do a Scream 6 and continue it with just her or something, just end it here, please. But yeah, I do like their paralleling, her boyfriend was the killer just like Sydney's boyfriend was the killer, and I love how they go back to the original house and have the whole final fight take place in that original house. I fucking love that. I don't remember if they've done it before in the movies. Maybe they have, but like I said, I'm gonna have to rewatch them. But I don't think so. Not that exact one. Let's see. I like the scene in the house too, whenever they're all kind of tensions building, trying to figure out who the killer is. They're all kind of pointing fingers, and you're kind of watching, like, waiting, is it you, is it you? And then, she just comes out and she's like, I'm not the killer. And she's like, I know. And she pulls out the gun, boom. Yeah, super kind of shocking moment, I think. And tension was really high throughout all of that. And I love, again, this is where you can only have, like, Sydney and Gail be in it so much because they are so smart and adjusted to this. I love whenever the killer comes out of the house stabbed, and Gail and Sydney are like, what do you think? And it's like, yeah, it's a trap. It's like, yeah, it's definitely a trap. Then she's like, oh, fuck, and she pulls out her gun and starts shooting at him. Yeah, I love that when they call it. And Gail gets shot. Did they call a police or ambulance, though, for Gail up until the end? I mean, they just kind of went in and dealt with it themselves, but, we got to have our movie. And I love how Sydney, she's going into the house and shooting behind doors. I believe at an angle, too, in case somebody's hiding behind the door. Or to the side of it. Yeah, just super awesome how they're vetted like this. Let's see. Yeah, I was really liking the character from the boyfriend, and I was really sure it wasn't him, but then that's right whenever they got me. Whenever I was sure it wasn't him, it was him. So they got me with the twist for sure. And of course, having it be two killers, you gotta have it be two killers. I mean, otherwise, really, people are gonna figure it out, so who it is. And it worked really well with that boyfriend too, because he was like, far away or whatever. Let's see. And I do think this will be the end of the franchise too, because they said that, so they, up to Scream 4 or Stab 4 in their universe, is all based on the real stories. But then they started making a 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe they said, that are based on just fan fiction. It's nothing that really happened, and that's why the killings in this movie take place, because they're trying to give more real content, because that's what the best content is. So I really do like that overall arcing for the plot as well. Oh, and oh my god, so the revenge kill for Dewey, this was definitely for the fans, because people were going to be so pissed off that they killed Dewey, that they had to make sure that they got the vengeance in there for him. So they did. They set her killer on fire. This was awesome between Courtney Cox, fucking Gail, and Sydney, both, tag teaming this girl in the house, and then setting her on fire. I don't know what set her on fire. Was it the bullets from the gun, the gunpowder, flammable maybe, where she all just burst into flames? But whatever, it was awesome. So yeah, she got what she deserved. She burned. Yeah, that was great. I'm glad that they did that, because she's bragging about killing Dewey, right? So that was awesome. I like whenever Billy Loomis's daughter gets the kill on the boyfriend, and she really gets into it. And Billy Loomis kind of like shows her, where the knife is, and she cleans off her knife in a certain way where she would have like cut her fingers or something. But I'm thinking it's to mirror back to how Billy Loomis would do after he would stab somebody. Maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but did he used to clean his knife off like that maybe, and that's what that was? I don't know. Yeah, but okay. I said lots of references I probably missed. In closing, I wanted Sydney to get a kill in here, you know, because I really don't think that she did, but, you know, I guess she's kind of the veteran, she's kind of stepping back. Gail definitely deserved that kill for her husband, but, her ex-husband, but I would have wanted, Sydney to maybe get the last shot of the movie, like where one of the killers is running, you know, after the girl who burned, when she's running, maybe Sydney let her have that kill, or the final shot, you know, where you got to shoot him in the head. Something, they didn't give her anything, so, like that, but, so that's kind of disappointing. But yeah, and then the final shot of the movie, you know, the final shot of the movie is the final shot of the first movie. I'm sure about that. I remember that, where they back up and pan out on the house and the sunrise in the background. So super cool. Yeah, that they ended it that way, and it's just a nice cherry on top. Please, I know right now it's easy to say for them, no more Scream. 10 years down the line, they may be saying, oh, let's have it with these old characters, you know, from the teen characters, you know, that we set up in this one. We'll do it, you know. Please don't do it. Let it end here. Don't reboot the franchise. Not in my lifetime, anyway, you know. Yeah, just let this be it, you know, because you've really had pretty good hits between 1 to 5. None of them have been a complete failure, and I think this was ending on a high note for me. So, yeah, because it was enough, and they, of course, reference this in the movie. It was enough to keep it fresh and, you know, exciting and, you know, different, but also pay homage and end everything in a nice way, and also in a way that made sense. You know, as much as I know people were saying, you know, oh, there wasn't enough Sydney in this one, but it just wouldn't make sense to have her in here for this, and they have her where it makes sense, you know. Because, like I said, you just can't have these Terminator characters in here all the time, you know, without killing them or just having them kind of on the bench. So yeah, and again, I felt they were all evenly proportioned, and yeah, it was really well done. You know, for a January horror movie, most of the time aren't those like crap? They let out crap horror movies in January. It's kind of the trope, but this one was really good. You know, so I guess they couldn't have done October because of the Halloween movie that came out back in October. But anyway, I know people are either going to love this one or hate this one because of Dewey, I think, mainly, and the lack of kind of Sydney being more of the forefront. So yeah, let me know what you thought about it down below, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.